Hello everybody, this is ZigZagZog coming to you from somewhere in this world, and we're back to continue our playthrough of Empire Total War featuring Darthmod in the 40 unit save version, and we are playing as the Poland-LITHUANIan Commonwealth. And we had a nice time last time defeating Austria. How dare they have declared war on us? Well, they paid the ultimate price. And now we pretty much have to wrap things up. We have to recover. We may have a little revolt down here in Vienna to deal with here coming up. We'll find out next turn. Before we do that, we pretty much have to get our gentlemen in place. That's about all we have left to do. Speaking of gentlemen, this guy who unfortunately ran away from his duel, we're going to send him back over here. And with Austria defeated, he doesn't have to worry about that gentleman being there anymore. So let's get him back into the school where we had originally wanted him to go. And there he is. We're not going to change anything as far as what we're going to be researching or anything. Now we also have this guy down here in Transylvania. And we are going to send him up to help with the research up in Krakow. So let's just get him on the move. And none of these guys, I don't believe. No, this guy's a 4-star. Is this guy? Oh, he has his doctorate, so it's +1 to research. So actually, one of my biggest researches that'll help with our incomes is improving my roads, and that's why I decided to send him here. And that's where he's going. It's going to take a few turns, but we're going to get him on his way. Now we also have a gentleman over here in Lvov, and let's get him moving. He's going to go over to the school in Minsk, in this territory over here, Babroysk, and let's get him headed off in that direction. It's another 2-turn trip, and then we have one more gentleman. I think it's down here in Warsaw itself. Once again, this guy has a steady. Now this guy, he'll duel with anybody with whatever you want. Dueling pistols, dueling swords. So this guy's got all bases covered for his duels. But there's nobody in the direction he's going, at least that we have to worry about at this time. So it looks like a 2-turn move to get him up to this school. Then I think we're going to have all schools covered. Now there's only one more thing looking at our research that I'm going to want to deal with. We've pretty much got all our major lines. We got a couple here. We don't have anybody in textiles, but that's the least of our worries probably right now. We got someone over here. So we've got all the major lines of research covered, except for Navy. And all of a sudden, I'm thinking, we have our first port. Why don't we figure out a school, now that we're going to have a fixed up port, a school that we can add just so we can have some naval research now. In fact, we're going to have to upgrade our naval building in the capital that we've never built or upgraded. So I'm thinking, where do we have a school that we can place? Hungary has a church school or a church college. I think we're going to tear this down, mainly because if we look over here, Catholicism is strongly in place. In fact, there is no religious unrest right now. They're just a little upset at our occupation at the moment, but that'll dwindle and go away. So I'm kind of figuring, let's tear down this church so when we get some more money, we can replace it with a school. Because the church is not necessary anymore with that kind of religious mix in the territory. There's really no angst at the moment between the Catholics and the Protestants in Hungary. So I think that's it. I think that's all I had to see about doing at the moment. We did the trade before we left, I think. Yeah, so let's just go on to the next turn, see if anything interesting happens in between, and then get moving. We'll have some good money to spend so we can start replenishing our battle-worn armies. We'll see if a revolt occurs, etc., etc. So see you on the other side. Okay, no big surprises, no big pop-ups in the middle of our turn. I'll kind of recap anything that caught my eye that was interesting. But we do have workers on strike. So fortunately, they have not revolted yet. We have that 1 turn time. We're gonna get this resolved. that's going to be a good thing. Our construction report, we got some tenanted farms upgraded, and what that means is we're going to be able to do proper research now. In this category, we're going to be able to come up here after we finish improved animal husbandry, now that we've upgraded our building. So no delay, no lag there. Let's take a look at spending. We have 7,000. Our income keeps going up. As a matter of fact, speaking of income, let's take a look over here at our regions. And Austria right now is not being taxed. And we're going to send some armies there to settle this revolting feeling that we have going on in Vienna. But this is the territory we need to get taxed. This is the territory of all of mine that we have listed here will be my... Well, it's going to drive our income once we get this on board. That's our single most profitable region that we have over there in Austria. So that's really going to help us once we get things under control. So we want to do that ASAP. And one way we're going to probably be able to do that is moving this army out of Croatia. It looks like more than likely, even with the little bit of unrest that's there right now, I can probably move my whole force up to Vienna, and we're going to do that. And we barely are settled and hanging in there in Croatia. What I'll do is I do not need any protection in the school, so just to have some coverage over here, we're going to send our militia down here just so we don't have to worry about it in any way, shape, or form for the moment. Let's take a look at our army now, our two armies. Well, basically this is our army. The rest of the forces are mostly militia. So let's take a look at our army up here. This is the one I'm most concerned with reinforcing. And let's see what that cost is. 4,742. We can afford it. We're going to do it. We're going to get replenished. And there we go. So in another turn, we'll be replenished. Let's take a look now. Having that other force up here, we've gotten rid of that revolting feeling. And let's guys take a look. If we were to tax, oh, guess what? Even with the army here, we can start taxing and gaining an income from this territory because it does not get that negative public order going anymore. So that's really cool. I actually was somewhat surprised by that. So our income should show that. Yes, our income now from 7,000 it's over 10,000 now per turn just by doing that. I have to decide. These are all these units over here are just militia. I guess what I'll do is I will heal the militia, because eventually what I can do is like what I'm doing with the ports. Eventually, and more than likely, we will be moving against Prussia coming up. We'll gain some more ports up here, and militia is good for sitting in ports so they cannot be damaged by incoming vessels and whatnot. So I think I will go ahead. I was debating whether I should just dismantle the militia, because I don't want why the upkeep on these kinds of units. But we're going to go ahead and see about replenishing my militia for now. It's not like I have that big of a massive force yet. I don't need to go through dismantling these units just yet. It's probably just a tiny bit premature. Then we'll decide how much we need for port coverage and any other important city coverage that we might want to look at protecting. So let's go ahead and get them repaired and replenished. And we still barely have the funds. We won't be able to do much else. Yeah, it leaves us with 100. But we got everybody and their replenishment going. The school that I want to build for the naval improvements is just going to take a little while longer to get that built. But that's not going to kill us here. Let's just keep moving up to Krakow here. Let's see if we can finish our gentleman movements in the other two locations. I know I can just let them move automatically, but I want to make sure they get moving. Okay, so he was just a little too far away, so he won't get there till next turn. And you, however, will get here. So our research times will be as good as they can possibly get as we slowly start getting our gentlemen in place. And they start building up their skills and training by completing research. Things are just going to go faster and faster and faster. Okay. And I debated changing one of our ministers, going for broke on this guy, but there's only one term left. I've never seen a cabinet last more than 2 terms before they get ousted in the elections. So I'm going to assume rather than take a risk, it's positive. We're getting a benefit from this guy. We'll worry about maybe taking the risk earlier on in a potential 2-term cabinet. So if I was going to do that, I should have done that way back last term. At least that's my opinion. Let's see, is there any other movement of forces that I want to commence with? What I do want to do is kind of get a read, see if our rake over here is in position to get a read on the forces of the Netherlands. And here is one tiny little artillery unit moving into Hanover. And let's see, I can't recall who everybody they're at war with. Well, it's not, and it is, no, they're allied with Hanover. So they're not at war. They're at war with Saxony. They're at war with Russia, Württemberg, Courland. And speaking of those kinds of things, Courland, they've been a good ally. They've been a good protectorate for me. They're bringing an army down to move over towards the Netherlands. Look at that. Talk about a helpful ally protectorate. I'm happy to see that happen. The only protectorate that's really not done much is right here in Saxony, but just having them camped there is good for potentially holding off these forces here around Berlin. So I think what we're going to do is take our rake. We're going to see about bypassing this single artillery unit. And there's an army. There's the first look at what they have afield. And that's the one I'm going to want to keep my eye on, to be quite honest. What I'm going to do is finish my movement to get as far as I can, see if it's close enough to get a read on the capital. Not quite. So we'll keep you there to kind of keep tabs over here. If they're moving our way, so they have free reign, free movement through Hanover, and then they could go against Saxony potentially, and if they do that, we're going to be ready to pounce. In the meantime, we're getting our armies in order, so if we have the opportunity and the Netherlands, or excuse me, United Provinces don't cause too much of a problem for us, we might have the opportunity to take a stand against Prussia. So we'll see how that works. I'm just going to take a quick look through my list, make sure I haven't overlooked anything, and we'll be right back for the next turn. Okay, there is one thing I want to do. Our rake that's down in the Ottoman Empire, he kind of has given us vision around here. And one thing I noticed is that big army that we had been aware of down by Istanbul took a walk down this road. So I think it's time to start bringing our rake down in this direction. There's a big forest in the way, whatnot, but we're gonna bring him down this way to see if we can't pick up where that army might be off to, and we're gonna try following along on the road to see if we can catch up to it and see where it might be headed. Could it be relocating to our underbelly here of our empire over here in our new territories of Hungary and Croatia? That's something I'd like to keep tabs of to make sure we don't get surprised. So other than that, I think we're ready for our next turn. We need some more income so we can continue improving buildings, because we got to get our economy growing, we got to get our armies growing now if we want to be battling Prussia and United Provinces at the same time. And here we go. We'll see you on the other side. Well, what we have here is Great Britain would like, well, they're demanding a technology from us, empiricism. They'll pay for it. I don't think that's hideous in order to get a trade agreement with Great Britain. I kind of like that idea. We got to keep our income going, because boy, do we have some growth that has to happen for our economy and our armies. So I'm actually going to go ahead with that, even though I never like, but it's low, we're talking low level right now, and we have more than enough schools to keep up pace with anybody else out there. I do believe. So I'm going to go ahead with this trade agreement here with Great Britain. And we have a trade agreement offer from France now. They would like the common land enclosures from us. they would give us military access, which is useless, but they'll also pay us for that common land enclosures. And I think I'm going to go ahead with that one too to get a trade agreement going with France. All right, our research is starting to pay off. We've got our carbines here. We'll see our next technology under research is carbine. So that means we can probably, I think that means we're going to be able to upgrade our military buildings. We'll take a look at that. And also we have a nation destroyed. Savoy is no more. So we got to look over here. Savoy was down here. I saw that French armies move into Savoy. So that's what happened there. France took them over. We also saw the mid-turn, something you all didn't see. We saw a United Province Navy move up from down south in the southern Atlantic, move up here. And then we saw a big fleet from Spain come over here to pound them, although they backed off, so they must not have totally won. But there's a lot of pressures on United Provinces right now, and I'm wondering how what their ability is going to be to really battle against us, because I believe they're at war with Westphalia, because we saw their army kind of move up here for to maybe go against this to take out their Weaver's Cottage and then come back down here. Let's just make sure the United Provinces, they're at war with Westphalia. So yeah, that army we're seeing over here that I was worried about initially is probably not that big of a worry. Let's come down this way. And we can get a sense. In fact, they're Westphalia has their port blocked. So that's all the worst of all possibilities for United Provinces. I know. Just watch my season 1 as we played United Provinces. I know well how damaging not having that port is. So now might be our time. Let's move back over here, see if we can gain sight of this other army. They were not able, or they only moved close enough. They did not win any battle here. So Westphalia is hanging strong so far. Although, unless Westphalia has another army around here somewhere, unless they're super depleted, that says we got a rake here. We can keep our eye on the situation. Okay, for all our armies here that we went to re-recruit here, that's going to take one more turn before they get fully replenished. What I am going to do is start on any buildings in the area that we might need to upgrade. We're going to repair the Admiralty here. And I don't think there's any other outright repairs that we need to make here. What I am going to do is we're going to go back to our capital in Warsaw, and we're going to build our own Admiralty. So, well, technically, I guess we don't have to. Now that we've got the Admiralty building that we're repairing in Austria, we can hold off on our own. It's just nice to have multiple buildings in case a territory is temporarily lost or something like that. But for the moment, that's all we're doing. And yeah, the Crimean Khanate is taking full advantage of our treaty to allow military access. That's for dang sure. So this is what we're going to do for this turn. We're going to recruit as much as we can to build up our army. I think one more push. We got a lot of line infantry here, but I think one more. No, actually, to be quite honest, if I'm going to eventually have more than one army, I got a potential army here full of artillery. I'm going to have an eventual army here full with its own artillery. So I would like to have a third, so I'm going to start working on 3 full stacks. So we're going to go ahead and recruitment-wise work on a couple more demi-cannons here. The army should at least have 2. Eventually, we can potentially add a third and or a fourth. I usually don't go beyond that in an army. And we'll get a little more line infantry recruited. One thing I wanted to take a look at over here, construction-wise, yes, we are able to go up to the new drill school. This gets us expatriate infantry, grenadiers, hussars. So this is definitely a building I'm going to spend right now to get upgraded. And I'm kind of leaning toward getting our parliament up here. It's a big investment right now, but let's focus this turn more. We got some buildings improving. Let's fill out the recruitment track this turn and then see how much we can afford after that. We're gonna go ahead and just fill in line infantry here, I think, with the makeup of this army. It has a fair, it's okay on cavalry at the moment, I think, so we're just gonna go recruit some more line infantry. And now we're left with 3,880. What I'm going to do with the construction over here is upgrade the drill school here, because this will be a major point for us to be able to recruit also. And we got a little bit left, so I want to build that last school so we can start working on our naval research also. So we're going to get the school here going, and eventually once this guy gets over to Krakow and helps with the research here, and that is lowered, let's see what that's lowered our research down to, only 4 turns. It used to be as high as 7 or 8, so having the extra guy here does make an impact. And once we get that research, some of the other research times probably won't be as long over here, and then we can send the guy back, because I won't need 2 over here. And once this is built, we'll get one of those 2 gentlemen back over here to help with our naval research. That's the plan. And get into your school, and right now every school has at least 1 gentleman, Krakow having 2. So we're in good shape, gentleman wise, right now. Okay, and there we didn't even have to move our rake. The Ottoman army has come back into view for us. So this is their big threat. All these little stacks that they have around, I don't consider those the big major threats. I want to keep track of this army, because if they are going to do anything nasty against us, I think this army right here at this point is going to be our big indicator. So we'll just kind of keep track of them as best we can here with that rake. So our rakes have been moved. We got track of the armies we're interested in. So we're going to keep building up our forces. And if Netherlands would appear to be tied up over here for the most part, and if their port continues to be tied up, they're not going to do any big moves against us, let's face it. I think we can start building up and thinking about possibly having some fun with Prussia. That's my thinking here. What are we able to recruit here now that we're starting to upgrade? Well, we don't have the funds anyway, but provincial cavalry. So yeah, that's not the most exciting thing. So I think maybe next turn, now that we've got our barracks upgrading, I think next turn maybe we'll focus on some more economy kind of buildings. And the other thing I have to check is all of my territories. Make sure all my new territories, although it looks like, in fact, let's just do the quick cycle right now. Go into infrastructure and just cycle through. Make sure we're all on the same kind of road. Is there any dirt road left out there? Yeah, we have one opportunity here in Transylvania. That seems to be the only one that I noticed. Yep, we've cycled through. So Transylvania, will have to remember to upgrade our roads next time. Not only will that help our speed and reinforcing, moving around our territories, it helps the income also. So I think that's it. I'm going to take one more look around my list, and then we'll get moving on for another turn. Okay, I don't see anything off the bat, so let's get moving to our next turn. We'll see you on the other side. Okay, we have made it through another turn. Let's go see what's happened. We've gained an ancillary. It looks like that's probably one of our gentlemen over here has already gained some traits. Yeah, it looks like he's gained some more stars. So there we go, Dusty Librarian +2 to research. So already we're gaining some great skills with our gentleman here. Another Dusty Librarian over here. So I'm glad we're picking up a lot of Dusty Librarians. I like that as far as research. And then we have somebody who's picked up a mistress, and that's probably one of our potential cabinet members, but it's a minor ancillary that doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. Recruitment report, we got a big push on recruitment. That's good. That's exactly what we needed. We also have income continuing to grow in spite of the armed forces. 12,633 as income, so that's really good as far as we're concerned. And we got some more technology. Carbines completed, so that's moved on to square formation. Research there has moved over to the Navy. We're going to see if there's not some artillery kind of research that can be done. Otherwise, we'll temporarily come over here till we can upgrade that. And our research is completing, so we're going to have to take a look everywhere to make sure I have everybody researching what they need to research. In fact, why don't we just start there now while we're thinking about it, and I don't forget. So the military syllabus here is done. We can upgrade to a drill school. Let's see, is that the one we are upgrading to right now? Yes, we're upgrading to the drill school. So once that happens, we're going to gain access to a bunch more research here. One of the big ones is fire by rank, so that's an exciting one. I do not mind, with all the cavalry we've been facing so far, picking up square formation in the meantime. We got 2 turns left to research or build our drill school. 2 turns left in his research, so that'll time out perfectly to pick up some more research and keep moving. So I'm fine with where that is. We are unable, until we upgrade our ordnance factory, to do any more research there, so we will keep this here. We'll do this first so we can work to upgrade to the next naval building, and when our other school is ready, we'll put in what will become the regular research over here, and then we'll be able to slide this guy back over once we get access to explosive shells. So our first order of business as far as building is right here in Warsaw. Let's build that next level of ordnance factory and get that process going so we can continue our explosive shells research. That was a mouthful. 3,500 we have to do secular humanism to be able to upgrade there. Parliament chamber, we have the funds, but once again, I think we're going to look at other upgrades first economically. Let's just make sure over here, yes, we've upgraded where I prefer there. We're only down to 2 turns left here to upgrade to metalled roads. And over here, I'm thinking we need to upgrade a school. This is fine, because to get down to division of labor, I'm going to need that to upgrade our port eventually. So we'll keep that research there, and in the meantime, it's a reminder that I need to upgrade at least one of our schools, and we'll do that in our home territory here. Maybe we can slowly start upgrading a school at a time here and there, but research-wise, I think we're in good shape. See if we have any new diplomacy. Looks like we've probably traded with about everybody we can. We haven't touched in with Saxony in a while. Let's open negotiations there for trade agreement, see what they have to say about it. And they still are not interested in any trade with us. I guess I could look at sweetening the pot. Let's just see if I can sweeten the pot somehow. And let's open negotiations. Let's look at our technology, and they are our ally. Let's see if a little carbine action along with the trade agreement will help. And we got our trade agreement. And to me, that was a minor technology to get that trade agreement. So now, finally, at last, all our protectorates are trading with us. And Venice, let's go take a look and see if there's any way we can entice you. First of all, we'll try it without any enticements. And no. So let's take a look finally with a little enticement and see what we can do here. So we can keep growing our income potentially as we continue to build our army and our infrastructure. Technology, is there a low-level technology we might be able to give them? How about improved animal husbandry? And we got trade there also. So I have no problem getting a trade agreement, trading some low-level research at all, especially with a minor territory. So there we go. We've got our trade. And our income projection this turn, 12,955. Trade, just nice to add country after country after country. The last two aren't huge dollar traders, but it all starts adding up over time if we can keep those trade lanes open. Let's take a look at our two rakes to see what we're keeping track of if I want to move anybody around. We saw a lot of battles taking place over here. Spain, we got to remember, is also at war with the United Provinces. It looks like the blockade may be over. I'm interested to pop back over here and take a peek. Yeah, so unfortunately the blockade is over here. That Navy of Netherlands, I didn't see it happen midterm. Must have come up here to break the blockade, and that's what remains. Oh, this is Courland's Navy now, so it's still burning, so they don't have their port open yet, but the ship that was blockading is gone. I think it was the Westphalian Navy. How could it be the Westphalian Navy? They don't have a port. Oh, it wasn't the Westphalian Navy. They had land units in there. That's what was in that port, wrecking it up. So it's still wrecked. And I'm going to keep the rake here because we're able to still see what's going on over here. Yeah, and we had no action down here with the Ottoman Empire and their army that I want to keep track of. So no surprises, no concerns. So that means as we continue to build up our own armed forces. In fact, let's do the one thing I was mentioned last turn and upgrade our roads here. That will help our income infrastructure-wise. Cobbled roads, +4 per turn to town wealth in the region, in addition to our movement speed. And what we're going to also look at then is to make sure any other income buildings, and then after that we'll start looking at the farms. Let's go see if we have any weavers, any metal factories of any kind that could use some upgrading. Or here also, these kinds of structures. Let's go over here and see about upgrading the government council. So this is more of an income turn, I guess you could say. Government chambers here. These will all help our tax rates. And 2,000, can we upgrade here? No, that's for 3,000. Already upgraded there, so let's take a look at a farm or two along the way. That will help with growth and as a result help with our tax income continuing to grow. So this turn we did not have any units created. But I felt it was important to get a little economy infrastructure focus. We can't totally ignore it, and we're not under threats right now, so let's take advantage of it when we can. Okay, let's take a look. We have forces here that might be able to start moving soon. Our army here is growing fast, so next turn we'll focus on some more army builds, fill in with artillery, cavalry, whatnot as necessary as we continue to grow our stacks. We also got to remember this army over here does not have any great way to recruit, so anything we are replenishing over here is also going to have to go towards that recruitment. Let's take the army that's here and let's plan on using these forces to reinforce over in Gdansk, and they'll just start the march over there. In fact, in case I forget, we'll just tell them to move all the way. And let me just double check, make sure I haven't overlooked anything I want to for this turn, and then we'll move on yet again. Alright, we're ready to move on for our next turn. we'll see you on the other side. And we have a trade offer from Sweden. They would like technology for a measly $1,000 payment, and absolutely not. We are going to be at odds down the road, and there's no way I'm going to give you canister shot as one of these improvements. And my income right now is satisfactory, so we decline. All right, let's keep our reinforcements moving over here. We pretty much did not have anything significant happen on that turn. We got frugal and thrifty. Let's make sure this guy is not in treasury management. That will not be a good thing. Let's go take a look. And he is. So guess what? With 5 turns remaining, he has just talked himself out of a cabinet position. Let's see if we can replace him with an improvement. And we got a great improvement this time. Let's just take a look at some of what he has. +1 to management, +1 to management, also +2 justice. So let's take a look at the guy in justice. That's +1 to justice there, +1 to treasury. Oh, that's -2 to treasury. I was thinking we might be able to do a switch and improve in both, but it doesn't look like it. Yeah, it kind of goes down here. It does improve in justice, but this is the better situation as far as I'm concerned. So there we go. We got the improvement. I was afraid to try the upgrade on my own, but with that downgrade with their traits, it all of a sudden became worth the risk. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead now and start out by increasing our military production. I want to see what kind of cavalry do we have over... Excuse me, I panned a little too far. Over in this army. No cavalry to speak of, so I think that's our next focus over here in Lithuania as far as recruitment goes. In fact, we'll start with regimental horse. Okay, we got our dragoons available to us also, so that's a nice upgrade for this. If we need, they're good for those unruly territories to have some dragoons there. That's always nice. What do we have over here for recruitment? Also, dragoons have become available with our upgrade. I'm not sure what it takes. Let's take a look at construction. Okay, so we can't quite... one more turn, we'll see about having grenadiers available for recruitment. Now in this army, let's just take a peek. We have some cavalry already. We have artillery that is continuing to be built. So let's just throw in another cavalry. And down in Austria, I think we're mostly looking at a need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was thinking of one more cavalry down here. Regiment of horse, provincial. Regiment of horse. Let's do one more cavalry, so that gives us 6 cavalry, not including the general. And then we'll go with line infantry to fill out. There we go. So that leaves us with 4,900 with which to upgrade elsewhere in our territory. So let's go ahead and do that. And one thing I'm going to do actually is we're going to build our first 5th rate. It's going to take a while at this pace. We don't want to really just start sending a fleet out with just one vessel, especially since anything we have to do causes us to go by the Barbary states and trying to get out of the Mediterranean. So we're just going to do kind of a slow build, slow simmer on building up a navy until we're able to start flexing our muscles there. We're going to upgrade one more school this turn. Then we're going to go with any more farms that we can. And that may, oh well, we can, if we have one more low-level farm, we can upgrade that, and that'll be our turn as far as spending-wise. And then pretty soon we're hopefully going to be in shape then to get our armies on the move What I'm thinking is we're first going to move against East Prussia. That's where the forts are. I'm thinking if they're going to keep this force out here, we're going to send armies over here to deal with them outside the forts as much as possible. They hopefully will reinforce and we can wear them down that way. And weaken when we have to finally go against the forts of Königsberg. Hopefully it'll make it a little easier. I'd much rather make this our final goal because Berlin, no walls. So that's my thinking on how we'll proceed once we get going here. In the meantime, let me just do a quick check through my lists and make sure everybody's doing what I need them to be doing. Okay, we're going to move our rake down here in Rumelia near Istanbul, and this guy moved back in this direction, so let's move ourselves back in this direction. I know I could try embedding him within the army so we could stay with him, but I know there's a risk with that, and we would then lose the ability of our rake. I would lose my eyes, and I'm not really excited about that opportunity. So we'll just keep him not promoting, not advancing so much, just to keep our eyes on this big old army over here. And it's a significant one. Organ gun with plenty of artillery. This is not something I would want to venture north towards us, because that would disrupt our Prussian plans coming up. Okay, it doesn't appear that I see anything else that we need to address right now, so we're going to take our next turn, get those recruits on board, and then I might get my armies moving up towards East Prussia. I think we've done enough building back up, solidifying of our forces, even though we have 3 not nearly complete armies. I think we're going to have enough to make a move. It'll require moving armies out of Austria. We're going to hope the public order. That's one thing I have to look at. It looks like we should, according to this, it's not always lining up quite accurately, but we have some militia also we can move into Vienna if we need to. We should be able at this point to move our full army out of there now. That's what I'm counting on. That's what I'm hoping for. So let's get this next turn out of the way, get our treasury replenished. Our projected income has dropped with our newest recruitments down to below 12,000, but it's still a comfortable income at this point of the game. All right, we've made it through another turn without anything of major significance happening. We got some new traits here. We've gained research for industrial technologies here by completing our metalled roads. I believe that's what we've completed here, so we'll have to take a look at what we need to do with those units. Our school is built here, so we definitely want to take our gentlemen out of here that we are not going to need here. In fact, they're both doctorate +1 to research and factory master and +1 to research, so they're both very good gentlemen. We're going to bring you, however, Slavomir, we're going to bring you over here. You know, don't mind my butchering of pronunciation. I do my best. Let's see. August the 2nd has gained a mistress. Just not a major addition as far as ancillaries are concerned. So let's keep moving. Recruitment report was a great recruitment round for us. We got the basis now with the artillery for 3 army stacks that we're going to try running with for the time being. Some nice construction. We also got the ability, we should now have the ability to recruit some grenadiers also. And we've gained technology advances. We're going to look at this one on square formation. I think we might want to readjust what we're researching there, and we'll do the same in there. So let's take a look first of all. Krakow is down to 1, but anyway. So I do not want, I want to not do the wedge formation next. I want to come over here. Let's make sure that's checked, and we're going to do fire by rank next. That's probably one of the single most important early upgrades for our line infantry that we can get. And then there's one more over here that we want to maybe adjust. Do we want to go for the basic steam pump? We tend to have a lot more of the textile industries working for us, so rather than work on the steam pump yet, although we do have at least one mine. In Krakow, we're going to move over to the spinning jenny next. Instead, and then pretty soon when we well, this school we can pick what we want them to do before the gentleman gets there and be ready. The sextant, I got to recall what this increases our movement range, seasoning, lowers upkeep cost but increases initial cost on the building, and the flintlock cannon, 5% reduction to naval cannon reloading time. I think we're going to go with the sextant to start with. And there, our research is now picked and set. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get this army out of Austria on the move. Recruitment-wise, we do have some more units available. We have our grenadiers available. We have the expat infantry. They're cheaper. Let's just compare. As far as accuracy, they have good accuracy. They're just as good as the regular line infantry. Let's see, as far as melee, 613, 7, 613. So they're exactly no different than our line infantry. They just got different cool uniforms, and we can own 3 of these units. I think what we will do is we're going to build a couple units of the grenadiers here. We're going to move the army out, but we're going to recruit a couple units of grenadiers. We're going to recruit a couple units of skirmishers. They have some long-range units, draw forces into action if we can entice them that way, and then we'll round it out with one final regular line infantry. This army is going to get moving, though, as I said. Let's choose everybody and get moving. I think the public order will be fine. Direction-wise, where we're going, we'll go towards Warsaw, so we'll take this road here. And as far as the public order left in Vienna, not good. So I'm thinking let's move some militia. Let's move some more militia. Yeah, I wasn't expecting quite the variety here, or quite the drop. We'll take one more unit of militia up here. And we may have to just leave the port abandoned, which is no big deal since we don't have a lot going on right there. At the moment, we can always send the militia back. Did we get enough sent to Vienna? Yes. We don't have to worry about any unrest this turn. Now I'm grateful that we kept our militia around just for that alone. Let's get in here. We got some cavalry that we can get running over here. In fact, we want it to go here. We'll reinforce here. And we got some more money we can spend. Let's take a peek in here construction-wise. We're going to have our cannon upgrade soon, so I think what we're going to do is take a look at recruitment yet again. Let's take a quick peek at this army just to refresh my memory. We're up to 4 units. Yeah, look at 4 units of cavalry at the moment. Until I get more line infantry, that's going to be fine. We're going to go right now. This army is going to need a general, so let's just choose that one unit and recruit a general at this time. And we're going to go with a couple grenadiers, a couple line infantry. Over here, we're going to upgrade also our drill school and make that our turn here. We can do upgraded hiring back here. And did I did the hiring already, or the recruiting I should say. I like how I use the term hiring. Can you tell I used to work retail? The hiring all the time in my old job. So anyway, there we go. And so everybody is recruited. We've spent all our money. We're keeping track of our rakes. And one thing, speaking of rakes, that happened down here is this army is just restless. It's on the move. moved on down the road.
Kolejna
We
misja,
want to continue to
dyskrecja
move on down the road ourselves, and it's in port right now.
Moje oczy i uszy
So
są
we'll
na
park
twoim
ourselves
słuchu.
around the port to keep an eye on him. And over with our United Provinces area, they've sent their army is growing as they over nearer us, but we have buffers. I'm not too concerned about an immediate attack there. And they're still at war with West. They've still got the Westphalia here to deal with. They've still got Spain that's next to them and blockading them again. So I'm going to take my eyes off of the United Provinces a little bit and keep everybody moving. Pretty soon, this army now has its artillery, so we're real close to being able to declare and move on East Prussia. But I think that's enough. I always feel disappointed, and I always want to apologize when we don't have a battle on an episode, but we had some important solidifying of our position. We got some good recon on potential enemies and what they're up to, and I think now is the time for us to make our move on East Prussia. So that's what I'm going to look to try make happening next episode. And hopefully you're fine with our rebuilding, you're happy with the direction we're going, and you're happy with the choice that I've come up with. I know we talked about potentially getting involved with Sweden. I think that's going to be down the road. For the moment, I think Prussia is the one that makes sense. It kind of solidifies our position, so we gain some more coastal positions by taking them out, and I think that's most important for us right at the moment. So this is ZigZagZog signing off from somewhere in this world. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you come back next time to see how we do in our first attempt against Prussia over near Königsberg.